Dear students of BA Part 3rd, once again I am with you through my video or through my channel, and at the very outset I wish you a very happy, handsome, hilarious and tasty good morning to all of you. As you might have noticed in my previous video, that was completely dedicated to you, or it was very much made or prepared to cater to your need, and in that video we were discussing the poem Break of Day in the Trenches. In that class, the poem remained unfinished or incomplete. Today, I have a good mind to try to finish it, to try to complete it. As you must be remembering that this poem has been written by Isaac Rosenberg. It was published in 1916, or it is written in free verse, and there are near about 26 lines in the poem. This poem is written in the backdrop of the war, and the war was fought here between England and Germany. The poet is himself a soldier. He is hiding himself in the trench just to deceive his opponent, his enemy. It means the German soldiers. At a particular time, he simply removes or pulls away the poppy flowers which were there arranged or set, or which were kept or put upon the parapet of the trenches, or parapet of the trench, or his trench. He finds, or he observes, that it is a time of daybreak. It's the time of dawn, D-A-W-N. In between, while he was lost in watching or observing this daybreak or mesmerizing beauty of the daybreak, his hand is touched by a rat, and the rat seems to be very much interested in going to that side of the field where there were German soldiers. The German soldiers who were fighting against the English one, and vice versa. The poet suggests him not to do so, as he has touched the English hand at first, and now his body will provide or will give the smell of an English person. That smell will be felt. That smell of the English person was or will be felt by the German soldier, and that very moment it will be shot dead, it will be killed. And Here, it is here that the poet suggests him not to show his cosmopolitan attitude or cosmopolitan sympathies. Here, see the lines. Droll rat, foolish rat, droll rat. They would shoot if they knew your cosmopolitan sympathies. Here is a very bitter satire upon the cosmopolitan attitude, cosmopolitan outlook or views of human beings. Cosmopolitan, this means a person who loves the whole world, who loves the whole humanity. Cosmopolitanism, cosmopolitan outlook, the outlook that suggests that the whole earth is one, that the whole world is one, and almost all the people inhabiting this earth or this planet are brothers and sisters. There should not be any enmity. There should not be any avarice or any jealousy among them. There should be love among them. They must not hate each other. They must not dislike each other. They must like each other. They must love each other. They should live, or they must live upon this earth with peace, with amity, with love, with the feeling of unselfishness. Or if one lives upon this earth, there can't be war. There can't be any trouble. There can't be any struggle, bloody struggle that I want to say. We have to struggle in career. The whole life is itself a struggle. We are the perennial fighters. We fight against the troubles. We fight against the setbacks. We fight against the difficulties. And it is for this man is born upon this earth. So that struggle, that fight is a different thing. That is the positivity of life. That is the positive attitude or sign of life. But the fight that we have in the battlefield or in the battleground or in the war field is a negative attitude to life. We human beings project ourselves as cosmopolitan at one hand, and at the other we go to the battlefield, and in that battlefield we shoot each other, we kill each other, we drink the blood of each other. Now, what kind of cosmopolitan sympathies are these? So here the poet puts a question mark, or seems to put a question mark against the cosmopolitan sympathies of human being, which creates war. Droll rat, they would shoot they would shoot you if they knew your cosmopolitan sympathies. Here no one is going to understand you. They are not going to understand you and your cosmopolitan attitude or sympathies or feelings. They are not going to read the message, your peace message, Shanti Sandesh, your message of fraternity or brotherhood. If the poet seems to talk to the rat, he seems to be talking to the rat. कि ओ rat, if you believe that you are going there with the message of peace, that means Shanti, P-E-A-C-E, with the message of fraternity and brotherhood, and they will understand your message, they will understand your feelings, they will understand your cosmopolitan attitude or outlook, then you are a fool. You are foolish. They are not going to understand this. They will not understand you. You will be shot at. You will be killed. So, please, don't try to go into the mouth of death. And God knows what antipathy is. The poet fails to understand the feeling of intense aversion for each other that drags man into war. What type of hostility? Which type of hostility is there between man and man, between person to person? That person or that man is dragged into the battleground, dragged into the battlefield or war field. What type of aversion, what type of a dislike, you can say? Man kills a man. Man stabbing a man. Man shooting a man. Man killing a man. Man murdering a man. आदमी आदमी को मार रहा है, गोली मार रहा है, चाकू मार रहा है, तलवार से गर्दन उतार रहा है. मतलब a man killing a man. For what? What is he going to have? What will he get out of such killings? After all, the man who kills will also die. He too have to depart this world today or tomorrow, sooner or later. The poet fails to understand. It is beyond his imagination. Therefore he says, God knows. भगवान ही बता सकता है कि ये कौन सी एंटीपैथीज है. And God knows what antipathies. Now you have touched this English hand. Of course, the poet is conversing. He is talking with the rat. Now you have, who is you here? You is the rat here. Now you have touched this English hand, and you will do the same to a German. The rat is not going to discriminate between the English hand or the German hand. It has simply touched presently the English hand, and the same he is going to do to that side, to that camp rather, to the German side, and he will touch there the hand of a German soldier. Soon, no doubt, if it be your pleasure to cross the sleeping green between the two camps, between the camps of the English, between the English camp and the German camp, there is a green field, you can say, and that green field is sleeping green between. The poet says that the rat seems to be very much interested in crossing the sleeping land, sleeping greenery, which is there between the two camps. It seems you inwardly green as you pass. Now from here, from this particular point, the poem changes its gear, as we changes the gear in bike or in other vehicles. The poem changes its track here. It seems the poet observes minutely each and every activity of the rat there, and he guesses that almost all the suggestions of the English soldiers fall flat upon the ears of the rat, and he is not at all interested in the suggestions of the English soldier. It means the rat is fully dedicated to his mission, you can say. He has decided once and for all that he has to cross that sleeping greenery. He has to go to that side also. And at this point, this very idea flashes in the mind of the poet, and it seems to the poet that the rat is greening Chirhana him, that means the soldier. It seems, ऐसा लगता है, it seems you means the rat inwardly, भीतर भीतर, green as you pass, as the rat is passing, a strong eyes, fine limbs, haughty athletes, less chance than you for life, bounds to the whims of murder, sprawled in the bowels of the earth. The poet brings a comparison here between the lives of the poet, means life of the man, and the life of the rat. He brings a comparison. There can't be a comparison between the life of the man or the life of the rat. There is a difference of earth and sky between these two creatures. Strong eyes. Man, if man's eyes are compared to the eyes of a rat, easily you can feel whose eyes are strong. You might have seen the eyes of rat. If you have not, see my eyes. छोटी छोटी आंखें, चूहे जैसी आंखें. Man, strong eyes, fine limbs, 6 packs, 9 packs, 10 packs, packs of Hrithik Roshan, packs of Sunny Deol, Ajay Devgan, Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh. Well-built body, robust body. The body massaged with mustard oil and Dabur Lal Tel. Having packs, I too have packs. There's only 2 packs. So strong eyes, fine limbs, haughty athletes. Racing in 100 kilometers, marathon race, running in marathon race. Sometimes completing this task, sometimes completing that task. Less chanced than you for life. See the irony. What an irony is here. The rat which should be in the burrow, the rat which should be in the holes or burrow or trench, is moving here and there without having any fear. The rat is doing the morning walk. चूहा सुबह की सैर कर रहा है. हो सकता है आसपास में गर्लफ्रेंड भी हो उसकी. He might have the girlfriend to that German side. So he is enjoying the fresh air, fresh morning air. He is inhaling and exhaling. He has got an advice from Ramdev Baba that go on for morning walk. Have a stroll on morning walk, and he is doing the same thing. And the person who should move here and there freely or should enjoy the morning walk is hiding himself in the muggy trenches. The trench which is dark, which is full of fungus, which gives foul smell. See the irony of man. He is quite stronger than the rat. There can't be a comparison between the strength of the rat or the strength of man. But here, there is no guarantee to the life of man. And the rat is moving fearlessly. He has no fear. He even doesn't know what is a bullet, because he never creates world war. Bound to the whims of murder. What is a war? War is nothing but the whims, cynicism, whims of murder. युद्ध क्या है? हत्या करने की सनक का नाम युद्ध है. The name of the strong desire of killing is a war. And we human beings are bound, are tagged, are destined to the whims, to these whims of war. He is an English soldier. He is doing his job, he is doing his duty, he is in his English army. And as a soldier, he has to go to the battlefield. There is no other option. Even if he doesn't want to fight, he has to fight. Even if his heart is full of compassion, full of kindness, his heart is full of the milk of human kindness, it makes no difference. There he has to kill. Either he has to kill or get himself killed. Less chance than you for life, bound to the whims of murder, sprawled in the bowels of the earth. The rat should be sprawling into the bowels of the earth. Man is made to move upon the earth freely. Man is made to enjoy the dawn. Man is made to enjoy the bounties of the earth. Man is made to enjoy his life, to live his life till the last breath of his life. Till his last breath, you can say, last drop of his breath. And he is hiding himself. See the irony. What a great irony it is. क्या विडंबना है. He is panicked. He is leading a life of panic. He is leading a life of terror, a life of horror. He is always in panic. He is always panicked. Sprawled, पसरा हुआ होना, लेटा हुआ होना. In the trench, you are not going to get the comfortable bed. There is not well sprawled, you can say, bed is there. The soldier sprawls with difficulty there. Sprawled in the bowels of the earth, the torn fields of France. And no doubt, the battle is being fought, the war is being fought between two nations, it is England and Germany, but it was fought, or it is being fought in France, or on the land of France, you can say. And that field is torn. The sound of bullet, the horrific sound, the terrific sound of the guns and bullets have torn the fields into chasm, you can say, into pieces. What do you see in our eyes? As I have told you time and again, that the poet is observing each and every activity of the rat. He is talking to the rat. And for a time being, the rat is listening also. Or the rat might be a smiling, negative smile, you can say. A smile with grimace. He might be jeering, bhitre bhitar, inwardly, upon the soldier, or upon the destiny of the soldier, upon the destiny of man. And the rat might be thanking God. Oh God, I am obliged to you, I am thankful to you that you have made me the rat. You have not made me the man. It is better to be a rat than to be a man. If man has to lead his life in such a condition, such a hellish condition, it is better to be a rat. Why should one desire? Why should one pray to God to make him a man? If man has to lead such a life, if a man has to die such a way, if a man has to live such, if a man has to die, or if a man has to lead such a hellish, horrific, terrific, panicked life. But the poet observes, the poet watches that the rat is looking at him, and he says, "What do you see in our eyes? At the shrieking iron and flame hurled through still heavens, this crying, this flashing of the guns or bullets, the shrieking, ghostly cry. When a bullet is fired, we do not dance. Our heart do not dance. We get panicked. So in the battlefield, the guns are shrieking. And this shriek stills the heaven. It stops the breath of heaven also. Of course, there is panic in the eyes of the soldier. There is terror in the eyes of the soldier. There is the shade of death in the eyes of the soldier. And all these things are not in the eyes of the rat. What quiver? There might be nervousness in the eyes of the soldiers. What quiver? What heart aghast? Full of terror, full of horror. And the last stanza, last 4 lines of the poems are very, very important. Poppies, I think you might be interested, or some of you might be losing your patience also, because the poem is not a love story, you can say. It's not so much juicy, as you people are very often interested in getting that type of theme. If I start teaching you She Walks in Beauty, you will be very happy. If I teach you neutral tones, you will be more happy. If I teach you Wordsworth Lucy poems, you will dance with me. But this is not a situation, however, but I am trying my level best to make it a bit interesting. Or it must be interesting to you just because it's a matter of life and death. Dear students, dear friends, if you are living upon this earth, you may get a chance to love, you may get a chance to have romance. If you go for war, if there might break the world war, what will happen to you, and what will happen to your desire and wishes to have romance? So please see the lines. I have seen some boredom in the eyes of some people, therefore I have told you all these things. Poppies, type of flower, poppies, postaka full, whose roots are in man's veins. As Indians, you might have seen Dhatura, and you must have seen Tari also. or what to say, you must have seen beer or alcohol, you might have tested also, some of you. But I am unfortunate enough, I have not tested even for once what beer is. So please, if you have, please bring it to me. तो मैंने धतूरा क्यों कहा? Because it has nasha. Therefore, Biharilal says, कनक कनकते सौगुनी मादकता अधिकाय, एक खाए बौराए जन, एक पाए बौराए. कनक कनक, कनक धतूरा, and one कनक means gold, सोना, पैसा, रुपया. तो कनक कनकते सौगुनी मादकता अधिकाय, कहा गया है कि पैसे में, रुपये पैसे में, सोने चांदी में धतूरे से ज्यादा नशा होता है, ज्यादा अल्कोहल उसमें होता है. कैसे भाई? तो धतूरा को देखने से नशा नहीं होता है. You are not going to lose your senses after getting a look of dhatura, as it happens in the sense of your girlfriends. कि देखे नशा आ गया, बौड़ाने लगे, गिरने लगे, लौटने पुटने लगे. But it doesn't happen with dhatura. Of course, if you eat it, then you will enjoy its pleasure. But आप रख लीजिए, 2-4-5 धतूरा तोड़ के पॉकेट में रख लीजिए, and start dancing as if you are drunken, and someone will ask you which drink you have taken. Are you drunk? No. Not even a single drop. Then why are you dancing like a drunken man? He will say, I have some dhatura fruit, or I have some dhaturas in my pocket, therefore I am doing that. This is not the case. It never happened, or it never happens, or it will never happen. But रुपया पैसा अगर ज्यादा आ गया तो आदमी को नशा हो जाता है, नशा चढ़ जाता है. इसलिए पोएट कहता है, एक खाए बौराए जन, एक के खाने से आदमी बौराने लगता है, नशे में झूमने लगता है. थोड़ा सा झूम लूं मैं, थोड़ा सा चूम लूं मैं. फिर क्या कहा जाता है? अरे नारे बाबा ना. लेकिन पैसे में क्या है? एक खाए बौराए जन और एक पाए बौराए, पाने से ही बौराने लगता है. The same situation is there. Poppies whose roots are in man's veins. You might have seen it. You might have seen that when we are in senses, we never fight. When we start fighting when we lose our senses. When we goes a bit cynic, जब हम सनकी हो जाते हैं. When we go whimsical. When we try not to be under the control of our senses or feelings, then only we fight. And earlier you have seen, the poet says, what is the whims of murder? It is because of the poppies, juice of poppies which are in our veins. We lose our senses. We go whimsical, we go cynical, and we go for war. Drop and are ever dropping. Alliteration of D. But mine in my ear is safe. See, one poppy is there in the ear of the soldier, of the poet. He has tagged it. And that poppy plant, that poppy flower is there to save him. But the juice of poppy, nasha, that is there in the veins of man, which drags, D-R-A-G-S, which drags him to that field of death, where death dances, where death shrieks, where death haunts, where death drinks human blood, warm human blood, is drunk by death. Therefore says here, poet says here, but mine in my M, beautiful repetition, no alliteration, thank you. But mine in my ear is safe, just a little white, poppy flowers are white, just a little white with the dust. Of course, there is some dust upon the flower, but with that dust, it is there to save the life of the poet. Therefore, the poet is tagging it with his ears. But the juice of the poppy plant or flower that is in the veins of man drags him, takes him, carries him into the battlefield, into the war field, where there is nothing but death and death and death. So, dear students, I have tried my level best to drive the poem home to you people all. I hope you might have the better understanding of the poem, as I am getting from the looks of some of your eyes, some of your face, some of the faces are shining, some of the eyes are shining brightly. There is a smile upon the lips of some of you, and it makes me understand, it makes me feel that you people have enjoyed it. Thank you, not for this, that you have tried your level best to understand this poem. Thank you rather for this, that you have bore me for such a long period. Thank you for this once again. Hope to meet you in some other classes. Till then, romance with your life. That's all.